Hi, Kerry again with Best of Us Investors. If you're a regular to the channel, you'll notice we're going through some change. We're going through some transition. We're bringing other people in to give presentations to you in video format that will help you make good investment decisions. One of those people is Jacob Braun. He's a young man, still a student at the Southern Florida University, but he has a tremendous interest in biotech. And he did us a video on cavernous sciences a week ago, and we saw a nice bump in cavernous. And what he's involved in is a part of medicine that I know nothing about. Literally, I know nothing about any parts of medicine, but I've tried to understand genome therapy and genome sequencing, and I think I have a basic understanding of that. He's now talking about drugs that are dealing with the inflammation in our brains that end up causing us having Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and dementia. And there are a number of companies, another one, Cavernous Science is involved in it. Another one is INmune Bio. And he believes that this is a company that is approaching what they call TNF, which is TNF indicates a drug that helps stop inflammation in the brain. And this is a small company, a young company that he wants to explore and share his knowledge with, and he's going to do that in just a bit. And then what he's going to do is he's going to, in subsequent two videos, he's going to interview the chief scientific officer, I believe it is, and then the CEO. And that's what I want to bring to you on this channel, not just what Kerry thinks and what it looks like on paper, but let's dig in deep and get to know these companies or specific companies that we have an interest in. Because again, I believe some of the biggest changes we're going to see in our future are in the medical field. With the aid of artificial intelligence and machine learning, this is going to skyrocket. And if we can find the right companies, and if we can gain people who have an understanding above and beyond ours, we've got an advantage. So this is going to be a second video by Jacob. He's going to use Stock Card. This is someone who likes what we're doing and wants to help us promote our channel and then promote their service to help you dig deeper and come to a better understanding. Please don't just base your investment decisions upon what I say or what Jacob says. We are only the people who are going to point you in the direction, and we think Stock Card is a way that you can get even some better guidance. So let me turn you over to Jacob after I share with you I'm not your financial advisor.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to the video today, and I appreciate you watching. This is going to be the first video in a three-part video series. This video is more of an overview of the company INmune Bio, and then the next two videos will be interviews with people within the company. One will be with the CEO, and one would be with the lead medical person on their oncology drug. I think this is a very interesting opportunity that we've been given by the company, and I hope that being able to talk to them in an interview style will give us some good insights into the company that we usually don't get. So I'm very grateful for the company for being willing to respond back to me and to be able to set these interviews up. And I look forward to you guys hearing them after this overview. Real quick, as we get started, I'm going to share my screen. For those of you that don't know, I'm a writer on Seeking Alpha, in addition to helping out Kerry with some videos. So if we go to INmune Bio here, we can see just some of the articles I've written, along with some other people's articles. But I've written three articles to date on the company. And if you want to read about those and more in depth, I would highly recommend it. Look at Specifically, it's Stock Card. So for those of you who don't know, Stock Card's a website I've been using recently, and I really like it. It's a company that gives you a quick visual of what the company's about. So just some quick things to help you be able to see how the market's viewing the company, how you should view the company. And then from there, you can get more in-depth information as you continue to look further into the stock. So I think that Stock Card is a great company to have, because one, it helps you find stocks. And then two, when you look at a stock, you can easily see information about the stock. But so Stock Card is what we're going to be using for this video. And we can see that it marks the company as a high growth potential company. Pessimistic by investors. I definitely agree. This company, I'll talk about later, has experienced a massive sell-off that started first when they decided not to go to phase 3 trials with their COVID-19 drug candidate. And I'll touch on that when we look at the chart, but I think that decision was very smart. So struggling operations, which is, I think, a fair assessment. But as with any biotech company, until you have a product on the market, it's very hard to have great operations. Undervalued stock, definitely. I think it's undervalued and underperformed the market. Yeah, it's had a rough run here. It's definitely underperformed the market. As you can see, the analysts, 2 analysts have said that this is a stock's a buy, and I agree. So we're going to look at the chart. I'm going to do the 1-year chart, and we can see a little rocky come here, and right around here is where we had our news on the INmune. Actually, it was right here. So right here, they had an offering, a share offering. So that diluted the stock, but helped replenish the company's cash pile. But right here, this is the real one. So the company was working on a COVID-19 drug candidate, and they decided not to proceed to phase 3 trials. So many people saw that as a failure. I think that was a very smart idea, because the FDA had made it clear, it seemed, that they were not going to get any fast approval. So basically what the company said was, well, we just finished our phase 2. We don't want to go through a $100 million phase 3 for something that we don't think is going to be around very long. And well, Omicron is very present at the moment. I think that was a good assessment, because by the time a phase 3 would have been done, in 6 months to a year, I don't know how big COVID is going to be. So right now, again, Omicron is very big, but with it being so infectious, I don't know how big of an impact COVID will have in the next few months. So I think that was a very smart investment, or a decision by the company, but that led to a sell-off, which has continued and just done worse and worse. And obviously, that's never something you want to see in a company. But what that has happened, or what that's created, is a prime buying opportunity if you're interested in investing in this company. So I want to also look on Stock Card at the at XBI. For those of you who do not know what XBI is, it's basically just an ETF that just tracks the biotech sector. And INmune Bio is a biotech company, so I think this is a fair representation of the sector it's in. If we look at the 1-year chart, again, XBI has been facing the sell-off, and around that same time, it's been facing it really decreased, going from about 130 down to right now where it sits about 100. So the sector as a whole, I think, is really getting sold off. For whatever reason, I think the Fed definitely has part of that, high inflation, all that, right? So, but the sector is itself performing very poorly. And so I think that definitely contributes to part of the reason why INmune Bio has performed poorly recently. Again, overall, I think that INmune Bio is a very interesting company and definitely one we should look into. So the first thing we're going to look into is going to be their SEC filings. I'm going to pull this up. So one of the biggest things with a company, especially a biotech company, is the cash position. So it's very difficult to have a good cash position as a biotech company, because you're basically just burning cash and you don't have any income in cash. So the only way to raise cash is through partnership deals with other companies, or through dilutive share rounds. So where you offer additional shares, dilute the current shareholders to bring cash in. So if we look at the financing, the cash position is very big. The company currently says that they believe they have enough cash to go till mid 2023, which is a pretty good cash position for a biotech company. So as of the last filing, they had 84 million in cash, and we had 4 million or 4.8 mil or 4.8 million in current liabilities. Total liabilities, we have 20 million. So about 60 million in cash minus total liabilities, which I think is pretty good. Operating expenses, we have a loss from operations of 9 million per quarter. So that tells you how many quarters based on the cash position they can get. So again, I think the mid 2023 is a fair expectations to be able to last with their current cash. If they cannot get a drug approval before then they'll more than likely have to do another dilutive cash fundraising round, which I think they will. I think they'll wait to have some positive trial results before they do that, though. So we looked at the cash position, and let's look specifically more into the company itself. We're going to look at the drug pipeline. So their big one is XPro. Specifically, I think how I originally found the company was looking at it for a CNS drug candidate, and I think they've had some very promising things. In essence, what XPro is it's a selective. It helps with neural inflammation. So everyone is approaching CNS diseases in different ways, and how the company is doing it is they're doing it through neural inflammation. I don't know why more companies aren't looking at neuroinflammation, because most people think neuroinflammation is a very big hallmark of these diseases, but that's specifically how they're looking to do it. And they're looking to do it with a very well-known, so here we can see they're looking at Alzheimer's, ADR, Parkinson's, ALS. INmune, we'll talk about in a sec, that is their oncology drug. But so really, they're looking at lowering neural inflammation. And as of now, specifically Alzheimer's, because it's kind of the golden unsolved drug or unsolved disease out there. It's got a massive market, and the market's only growing. So a lot of people are trying to throw their hat in the ring, per se, and create a drug for it. And so INmune Bio is the next one up. Their drug is entering phase 2 trials, so it's very early on. But what that does is, if you believe in the science, it gives you an opportunity to get at a good buying price. In essence, what we can see from their trials is it reduces a whole panel of biomarkers and also reduces the neuroinflammation. And that's the big thing that with XPro is they reduce the neuroinflammation. And how they do that is it's a selective. Let me see, find this. So this is the phase 2 trial that they're about to start. Yeah, so it's a selective TNF inhibitor. So some other TNF inhibitors, a very common one is Enbrel for arthritis, and some of these other inhibitors, they've been shown to lower to delay the onset of Alzheimer's. So some of these other TNF inhibitors that people are on for other things have been shown to delay the onset of Alzheimer's. So this technology or the science is there, but none of those have been approved for the brain. And the reason is they believe that it can cause, a typical TNF inhibitor can cause issues in the brain, whether that is with inflammation or other issues. So what INmune Bio did was they took an TNF inhibitor and made it specific. So now they're only targeting one type to inhibit. And with this, they believe they can get rid of the side effects that others have experienced when they're affecting the brain, but still keep that same end product of delaying the onset of Alzheimer's. So that's a very basic explanation of what they do. I'm sure we'll get more in depth and a better explanation when we talk to the CEO later on. So this is Alzheimer's and CNS is a very massive market. Alzheimer's itself has 30 plus million individuals. So being able to just win a small fraction of that market is going to be a hugely successful product. And with the current market cap sitting around 200 million, you can have massive growth upon a drug approval. I think with each phase that this drug continues on, you can see a very large improvement in the stock price and market cap. If the product, especially for the Alzheimer's, is able to get approved past that phase 2 into that phase 3, then you're going to see a big jump in that stock price. So another thing to specifically look at with this company as we look at their pipeline is they are working on a treatment-resistant depression drug. And specifically, one thing I really like about that is the NIH has backed that. So the NIH receives thousands of applications a year for their money, and they're very thorough in which companies they pick. And they picked XPro for their treatment-resistant depression drug. So I think that is very enlightening, and that alone, in a sense, validates the technology for the treatment-resistant depression. So this is pretty early on. So you have that phase 2 starting second half of 2022, but I think it's definitely something to watch. Treatment-resistant depression is a pretty big market, but it's not nearly as big as Alzheimer's or some of the other markets. So I think this is very promising, and I'll be very closely watching that as it continues. And particularly, I like that the NIH backs that. So now I want to talk about INmune, which is very, very promising. And we're like I said, we're going to be able to talk to the lead medical officer on that product later on, which is an incredible opportunity. So INmune, so oncology drugs have a much easier approval process compared to other drugs. For example, in Alzheimer's drugs, the typical approval process has to do with you have to show a change in cognition. This is not the case anymore, potentially, because Biogen's recent drug was approved primarily on biomarkers. But with oncology drugs, it's almost always around biomarkers, which is a much easier standard to meet, which means it's a much easier approval process. So INmune currently is early on in the phase 1 trials, and this is very early on, but oncology drugs can go through trials very quickly. And I think this is something important because this trials can go very quick. And we're going to talk more about the science later on in a later video. But I think INmune is very promising. It's got a promising field. And as of now, in the very small sample size, but in their first trials, they've had some very promising results. So I think really their flagship product right now is XPro. But INmune is very promising. And what I really like about this company, for a very small market cap, they have a very wider array of products. And what that does is it gives you more than one opportunity to make it if one or two of these products doesn't end up panning out. Because at the end of the day, if one of these products gets approved and gets to market and starts bringing in some revenue, the company will be in a very good position financially and have a much more stable stock price. So overall, I really like the company. I think here's the XPro for TRD. I think the company is in a good position. I really like the NIH backing the XPro for TRD. I like what the company's been able to show with biomarkers so far for Alzheimer's. And I think INmune is a very promising oncology drug. So I think this company is very promising. I personally put a bullish or a buy rating on the company. But I hope that you continue to tune in as we go to the next parts of this video series So you can hear specifically what the CEO has to say about the company, and then what the lead medical officer on INmune has to say, because frankly, I don't understand INmune like nearly like he would. I can just look at the big picture, whereas he can give us much more in-depth detail. Thank you for watching this video. I'd recommend checking out Stock Card. It's a very good platform for you to use, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.